As I was thinking about what we are doing, it really is an opportunity for people to connect with their beingness. We are not conscious of the compartmentalization. We just say, this is who I am, right? Who you are is different depending on the environment that you find yourself in or the people that you find yourself connected with. So I hold myself out as an example. At 71 years old, it's been a long journey. It's been a long journey to self-acceptance. And I think it may be that way for many of us, that we look at the pieces of ourselves and decide, I can show that. No, I can't show that. Is there a danger? How deep is the danger if I show you all of me? Oh, I can show these people this part of me, and these people this part of me, and these people this part of me. And then the question is, how long before you get tired of just compartmentalizing your beingness?
Hey, Facebook.
Hey, how are you?
Can you hear me, Dr. Sue? My microphone failed.
Remember that old commercial? I don't remember the telephone company. Maybe it was Verizon. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me
Yeah,
now?
that's Verizon. That's Verizon. And that's also me.
I can hear you. I can hear you now, Carrie. I can hear
Okay,
you.
good stuff. Hello, Facebook. Hello, Facebook. This is the late night happy hour.
Happy hour.
Carrie, Irene, and Dr. Sue
Where what comes up comes out.
comes out.
It comes out.
Because you know why? Because we tell all our
I
business.
tell all my business and all hers. And if I know some of yours, I'm like, no, I won't.
She gonna tell her son. She tell her son business too.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, dude.
Listen, he has caught me a couple of times recently talking about him. It's like, oops, I didn't intend for you to know that. Yeah. But that's what mamas do.
Yeah, that is what mamas do though. They tell all your business, they pull your pictures out that you don't want nobody to see. They tell all the stories, ain't nobody's business. That's what they do. But why not though?
Yeah.
That's the privilege of being a parent.
Yeah.
Shoot. So how's your week? How's your week been?
It's been good. The house is coming along. Hadn't had any more water leaks.
Good.
Did we talk? Was that us
Take this
talking
off.
about what water meant metaphysically? Water meaning transformation, meaning that something you're going through some things, and so I I hesitate to speak, but I think I'm on the other side of that thing, and
Yeah.
I'm just it's still an adventure. It has been an adventure. And I've just been rolling with life and not getting stressed and trying to keep my clients from getting stressed. And I've been going to a lot of thrift stores, y'all. Isn't it something how now old stuff, it's like I went to this Goodwill store, and when I pulled up, there were so many people. I thought, oh my God, where are all these people going? But they were
Goodwill.
all going to Goodwill.
Goodwill. Yeah.
And there were a lot of young people, and you can't tell by looks, but
Right?
dressed very, very nicely, right?
Yeah.
And they were beating me in the store. Now it's like, why y'all here? Because this is my space. Did didn't y'all get the memo that I was coming? So why you
But
here? But
she's
I thought
thinking
a
the
lot
same damn thing. Now
I
this is
know. I'm so
what she's
selfish. I am
doing.
so selfish. It's like, why you here? Go home. Let me do what I do. Let me stroll through. I don't need all y'all people getting in the way, screwing up things energetically, taking stuff that even before I see it, I'll let you have it if I don't want. So I can't listen. I can't
I
get my
don't
son
want it.
to do it. I keep trying to get him to go, and he keep going.
Your son?
"Mm." But today I found a drop leaf table, right? And I bought my sander. I'm doing a few do it yourself things. So I got my sander. My handyman and I were talking just last week. He said, "Well, if you find a drop leaf table, then I can connect it to the wall in such a way that it hangs down when you don't want it, and then you can have it as a tabletop when you want it." And so we were just having that conversation earlier this week, and lo and behold, I couldn't.
What do you find?
There it was, my table, wood
Right.
table. It just needs a little sanding. I got my sander, y'all. I don't even know what I'm doing, but
I did
I'm
too.
going.
Too. I wish I was there so much because I love wood. I would sand that thing and it would be the happiest thing that I would be doing. Oh my goodness.
I
I love
got started.
it.
Didn't want to
I can
stop.
smell the sawdust right now. Like,
Yeah. So I have been having fun. I am refinishing a table that my mother had. This table, my mom passed in '88, so this table would be almost 50 years old. So
wow.
I'm sanding it and I'm going to make it really nice. So, and it's got a tile top. And so I'm just, it's inset with tile, and I'm going
Mm,
to paint it like a glossy black because my kitchen appliances are black and white.
yeah,
So like, I'm just having fun, y'all. And
I love
y'all,
it. And y'all, what else? Tell us what else.
you know, I run. We're getting ready to slide into our topic, y'all. But
Oh, it's a good one.
I run from my gifts that God has given me, and I don't tell people. I don't tell a lot of people of the things that I can do.
Mm,
Let me put it this way: are the things that God does through me. I don't tell a lot of
ooh,
people. So
gotta get ready for this one. I
I
gotta get
I have
ready.
I passed by this crystal shop and I kept thinking, you need to go in there. You need to go in there. And so finally, after passing by it so many times, this week, yesterday I went in and the energy felt so good and the people, I ain't see nobody that looked like me. I'm just saying. But
Too.
but me and all my people rolled up in there, y'all. And all of the angels were there, and the energy was so beautiful, and the people who were there were so nice. And so, how about I'm scheduled to do a healing event next month? So I'll be
Oh
doing,
my goodness. That's
I
so good.
what I can do, but I'm stepping back into the energy healing. So I am going to be doing the owner of this store called Blue Crystal is having it's like she has readers. She asked me if I would do reading. I said, that's not really
Uh,
my thing. I can do it, but not really my thing. So I said, well, do you have anybody doing Reiki? And she says, no. And I said, I'll do that. Right. So she's having an event. It's either the Friday before Halloween or the Friday before, 2 Fridays before. I'll let y'all know. If you're in the area, drop on by. If you got friends in the area, drop on by. It's going to be fun. And if not, I'll be there, and you always have fun with me. I'm just saying. So that's what my week has been like. And I am opening up to the possibility of being here in Gainesville, Florida, y'all. Gainesville, Florida. Uh,
Gainesville 5.
and stepping back into the
I don't
spiritual
know what I'm
healing
doing.
arena, which when I was at my church, when I was in Atlanta, I did a lot of healing work through the church. And I have very much missed that. I coach and I love that. I teach and I love that. But I have missed teaching the energy healing classes, and I've missed actually doing the work. So I'm excited about the opportunity to, it wasn't what I was looking for, but I'm
Right.
excited about the opportunity to be stepping into that space again. So that's been my week. It's been a great week. How
That
was
is
yours?
a great week. I'm excited for you.
Yeah.
Like, look at you.
It feels so good to be going back into the energy healing work. It's like that is a part of me that's a pull push kind of relationship where I I do what I do, but I don't tell people what I do. Um, and there's no shame or embarrassment about it. It's not for that reason. I don't really know. I think in the beginning it was because,
Mm.
and perhaps it still is because I have doubt. Can I really do this? And yet I have to remind myself when that thought pops into my head, it's not you that does the work. It's
Right.
not you. And so how dare you even doubt what God can do? So
Mm.
so, Carrie, what we're talking about? That's a great lead in, right? What we're talking about.
It was a perfect lead in. And I didn't know any of this. You know, when, me and Dr. Sue, when we say what comes up comes out, it's literally what we mean. So every Friday, I text Dr. Sue the same thing every Friday. Are you ready?
And she says what?
And
Yeah.
she
What
says,
what we
"Yep,
talking
I'm
about?
ready. What we talking about?" And I say, "What comes up comes out." And one of us always has something in that moment, every time.
Yeah.
And today I said spiritual stamina. And then you say this, and what I gather from it is, and we're going to start with the ending, and then we're going to reverse engineer this thing because this is where we're going with this conversation. So I already want to go ahead. Look, spoiler alert. Spiritual staminas a lot of times look like, I don't know what this is. I don't know what to do with this. Is this even real? I feel
Uh-huh.
crazy. Ain't nobody gonna believe this. I'm just not gonna say nothing. But what do I even say? Okay, I gotta say something. I gotta use this. Why do I have this? Why me? What spiritual stamina often, if not always, look like that. And it's, can you continue through the questions, awaiting the answers so that you can move forward with what you already know?
Mm. Mhm.
Oh, get that on you, y'all. Get that on you.
With
We
what
got to
you
move
already know.
through
Move
this
forward
thing.
with what you already know.
Keep asking the questions, baby. Keep receiving the answers. You're building your faith. You're building your trust in yourself, in your intuition, in those nudges, those dreams, the things you hear, the clouds, the dirt, the water boiling in the pot while you're cooking, the carpet, that smell you keep smelling, the air blowing against the back of your calves, all those things. Keep asking the questions. The answers will keep coming, and you will keep moving towards, and you already know what you're moving towards. I don't fill in the blank for you because I'm not going to say what it is for me because I ain't going to put nothing in your mind. You know what it is.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Dr. Sue, when I said that we were talking about spiritual stamina tonight, what were you thinking? What came to mind?
What came to mind for me, I actually went into some of my stories
Yeah.
about the times that I have been in places where I'm sure that I got there because of decisions that I made, but I didn't know how I was going to get out.
Yeah.
And Hi, hey there. And so spiritual stamina, as when I saw the topic, I am forever the researcher. So the first
Right.
thing it is, well, let me just research, let me Google this and make sure that my mind isn't taking me in the wrong direction. And so as I read what they said, and I don't remember what it was, but about faith and what keeps you going through the hard times, then I thought, well, intuitively, the stories that popped into my head, my stories were on track even when I questioned, which then got me to a point of thinking about what is the difference between spiritual stamina and or whether it's the relationship between spiritual stamina and spiritual resilience.
Uh-huh.
And from there I kind of went to, okay, how do you know what you know? And when you are in those dark places, because you don't think about it, roll that back. I don't think about it when life is happy. See, I was having a great time today, and it's like, oh, thank you God, I got the table. But it wasn't deep. It was surface gratitude, yes, but not that deep dive thing that when when your world feels like you're sinking, like the bottom is
Oh.
literally just coming out from under you. When last week, for instance, the last 2 weeks, first there was the water where we had to repipe the house, and then we had to call the plumber to deal with one problem, and then we had to call the plumber to deal with a different problem, and then we had to get the handyman to deal with a different leak, and it's like, God, what am I doing? What am I doing? And I I'm grateful for this. When I think spiritual stamina for myself, I'm grateful that I have learned that it's not automatically what did I do wrong? Because so often that's where we go. What did I do wrong? What is happening? I must have done something bad. No, I went as I am prone to do anymore. Okay, God, what you trying to show me?
Mm-hmm.
What, what does this mean? Not from a place of fear, but I've been talking all the time that in this phase of my life, I am considering it an adventure. So I was
Yeah.
curious, what does this mean? And curious not from a frantic place. So when I talk about spiritual stamina, I'm not frantic anymore.
Mm.
I'm not I'm not caught up in my story. I'm
Yeah.
not caught up in the dirt, in the dust, and the muck that's trying to pull me into the deep dark depression that I lived in, y'all. I lived there for so long. I lived in that space for so long that I thought that was where I was supposed to be. And I thought that I was the only one who had those kinds of experiences. And I'm so grateful that God has shown me that that is not the case, that I don't have to live that way, that when I live from a place of faith and knowing, I know what I know, what I know, even when I don't know how I know, I still know that it
Get
is
it
all
on you.
that it is all right. And that for me is what having spiritual stamina is about. And spiritual resilience is about having the knowledge, having the stamina, and knowing that life is going to throw me some curves, and
Yeah.
some of them are going to knock me down. But
Yeah.
the resilience is I'm going to get back up because I
Oh,
believe, I believe, I believe, I believe, I believe.
I
Period.
believe.
That's it.
Oh man. I'm 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 floored by just the synchronicity of what's happening just in life in general. And when I may put this, I'm gonna make this personal for me. When I think about, things that have happened, how they happened, they could have happened anyway, but they happened the way they happened. And so many times as they happened, I would ask myself, do you even believe it? because you're trying, we spend a lot of time trying to convince people of stuff. But when all is quiet, that tip of the iceberg that you shared with somebody and they kind of act funny, and then all the other things in between that you don't tell nobody. And
Yeah.
if you're spiritual, you understand what I'm talking about. You try to, even if you tell them everything, every detail, you can't describe the way your skin crawled when it happened, or the chill that went up your spine when it
Yeah.
happened, or the brightness that happened when it happened,
Yeah.
or the joke when you woke up and you knew for sure you were somewhere else. You can't explain that.
Yeah.
You can't explain that. So I had to ask myself, do you believe it? Because you're acting kind of small if you really believe it. You acting kind of skittish, girl. I mean, if you a buck, say that, because gotta take it easy on you. But I thought you could handle it. So I showed you something. Don't you act like you didn't see what you just saw. Don't act
Mm.
like you didn't hear what you just heard. Do not act like you didn't just feel what you just felt. Because you felt me touch you. You heard me speak to you. You saw me
Mm.
show myself to you.
Mm.
Everybody don't see that. Now I do it for everybody in the most delicate way for them, the path of least resistance. Whether it's a car accident, whether it's cancer, whether it's your kid being born with a malfunction, or if you're anything, God shows himself to us every day. And yes, I dug deep with those examples because you cannot say that you want the flower and not the rain.
Ooh.
If God created everything, that just is what it is. There's a period after that. You can't pick and choose. God speaks to us every day. But sometimes once we've been spoken to through a lot of those traumas, through a lot of those hardships, through a lot of those incidents, then he starts to blow cold wind on a hot day. Where'd that come from? It's hot as hell. you know, where did chill come from? Or if someone's walking by and you don't know who that person is, and you just look up at them and smile to you, and for some reason their eyes just pierce into yours for a second, and they don't even know what happened. And they going about their day, but you saw it. And
Mm-hmm.
then you run up to them and say what you know you heard for you to say to them. Yeah? When we start to be obedient, we still question, but we start to be obedient. We start to go with the nudges. We start to trust ourselves a little bit. We start to go left when we go right all the time. And then when we
Yeah.
at the gas station, they hands us a business card that is exactly the profession that your best friend needed because y'all was on the phone last night talking all night. Girl, you ain't gonna believe who I saw at the gas station. Just a little thing, just a little everyday
Yeah.
thing. This is spiritual stamina. We gotta kind of work our way through that, back to that communication, because life be lifing. It leaves
It
a lot
does.
of residue, okay? Because we wake up in the morning, we don't want to be bothered by nobody. So that stranger that you could have made eye contact, it was always there. But you had your head down because you were stuck inside yourself, because you're feeling weird because I don't feel like he understands me, and I don't feel like my boss is listening to me, and I don't think the kids ever do what I tell them. Maybe you're attracting what you're doing because you're not listening to God when you get those nudges. Because right, we are what we attract. So if you're attracting a lot of disobedience, it may not be because you're being disobedient to someone else. You're being disobedient to the calling on your life.
Ooh. Mm.
And the spirit will wait. It has
Yes,
all the
yes,
stamina in the world. And it's
yeah.
gonna nudge you again. It's gonna blow again. The person's gonna walk by with that annoying ass dog again. This time you might see them different.
Yeah. I totally agree. And as you're talking, I'm just remembering things. It's like I spent a great part of my life saying, "Not now, God. Not now, God." If you and God would show me things, and I would say, "Not now, God. If you just give me, let me do this one more thing, and then I'll
Yeah.
be ready."
Give me a week. I got a couple more things I want to
No,
try.
I was talking about years and hoping He would forget, right?
Yeah.
Like just give me one more, just let me do this one more thing. Let me do this one. When I promise you that when I do this one more thing, I'm gonna go where you tell me to go. I'm gonna I'm gonna do what you tell me to do. I'm gonna speak. I'm gonna whatever you tell me to do. Just give me this. Let me do this one more thing. And I did that for most of my life. And God is a good God. God wants us to be happy, right? And so
Yes.
God allowed me all of those times that I said, let me do this one more thing.
Right.
Let me finish this class. Let me finish this degree. Let me do this job. Let me learn this thing. Let me get married. Let me have my child. Let me raise my child. Let me do these things. And then the last time I said, let me do this one more thing, the last time would be now about 12 years ago.
Yeah.
And God said, no, now,
Mm.
now. And I had, without even going into all of the detail of the story, but I had a metaphysical experience, a spiritual experience that left no doubt in my mind that this was what I was supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
And and I was in tears, happy tears, but a very spiritual experience. And I saw myself and heard myself saying, "I'm going to go where you tell me to go. I'm going to do
Mm.
what you tell me to do."
Mm.
And when you make that promise, when you make that commitment,
Ah,
God's
man.
going to try it. You can try it because it's a test to see, are you really serious? Are you really committed? Or are you doing that thing that I was doing where you say, well, let me just do this one more thing and then I'm going to get to it. I promise you I'm going to get to it.
Yes.
There has been a calling on my life for all of my life. And it has been one that I was afraid of it. I didn't want to be crazy. The things that I know, the things that I share, it's like my clients come to me, they love me, but they ain't coming for me. They want to hear, what is it that, do you have a word for us?
Uh-huh. They want the message.
Yeah. And what I try to teach them, the big thing I try to teach them is that we all have the ability to
Pay attention.
communicate with God.
Gotta pay
It,
attention.
it's not, some of us are more gifted than others, but primarily because we step into the space and we practice and we do it
Yeah.
over and over. When we hear the word, then we
Yeah.
respond to the call.
Oh
It's a
yeah.
muscle. It is a muscle that the stamina is a muscle that you develop over time based on your use of it. And when you don't, and what I've noticed for myself is that, like in coming here to Gainesville for the last 3.5, almost 4 months, I haven't been as committed to doing my spiritual practices. And so when sometimes I find myself questioning, can I still do it? But see, the it thing, it ain't about me,
No.
just as it's not about
No.
you. And so if you just, you Sue, y'all can do what you want to do. You Sue, if you just get that question out of your mind and let God occupy that space,
Oh,
you don't have to worry about it. The stamina will take care of itself, provided that you practice. Having faith is about practicing your belief, even when you can't see it, even when you don't know it. Even it's like, I don't know what's on the other side of that wall. Hell, I don't even know if this
And that's
couch is
what's
gonna
in
hold me up, but I'm sitting on it like it is, right?
Yeah.
And so far so good. And that's kind of the way
Well,
life
so,
is. It's like all of these things that we think we have control over, we think we know. The truth is, we know nothing. We know nothing other than that there is one creative force that we have no control over. Life is an adventure. Be curious. Roll with it. Roll with
mhm,
it. That's
yeah,
what the stamina is about. I'm just going to roll with it because I can't control it. And I'm
they
going
say
to know in rolling, I'm going to know that I am being taken care of. I'm
that
being
part.
taken
That's
care
where
of.
I'm about to go. That's where I'm about to go because that's how. When Dr. Seuss said, "You know, we don't know anything," it's because we trust. Because God knows, and as the information inserts itself, that's when the nudges happen, and you don't have to know because you trust the knowing that's working and coming through you, that it zooms out. And when it zooms out, guess what is created? Your path, your way from the knowledge of knowing. Instead of creating the way, you just follow the way. Like she said, go with it. You go with it. And it's just this inner knowing. It's not our knowing,
Yeah.
it's the knowing. It's all knowledge composed into the direct communication that is your portion of knowledge. Oh, and it's so good because it's yours specifically. And it will lead you, it will, it feels so good. It will lead you down paths that you're like, I never thought to do it this way. And it feels so good.
Yeah.
I never knew that such a way could be provided without me having to have my stamina. Because my stamina get weaker. I come up these steps every day. I don't know how many of them it is. But the next place I move to will not have them. Do you hear me? Do you hear what I'm saying to you? I don't have to rely on my stamina though, because if I need to come up those steps for the next 10 years, God will make sure that I do.
Yeah.
And that I have everything. If my legs get cut off, there'll be a rail that will roll my little ass up it. You hear me? I will
Yeah.
get up and I will get to and I will show up everywhere that I'm supposed to if I let go and let God and
Yeah.
trust the way that's flowing through me from pure knowledge. Not this knowledge that I know because I know how to go down the stairs and get in the car and drive down the road and go down Shelby Drive and to get here and whatever. First and foremost, okay, let's think about Memphis. It's pretty big. Okay, let's think about Tennessee. I drove 5 hours last weekend and was still in Tennessee. Okay, it's pretty big. Think about the United States. It is big. Think about
Yeah.
that. Think about North America. It is big. Think about the top of the equator. It's big. Think about the earth. It's big. The earth is not even the biggest planet. And this is not the only solar system, nor galaxy, nor
Hmm.
life form. Yet we are here. We're here. We're taken care of. We're provided for. And ain't like I always say, I got this from Michael A. Singer. Since the beginning of time, no resources have been shipped in.
Exactly.
None.
Exactly.
So if we can live on that level, just think about all of the things that are going on in the atmosphere. If we are that small, think about how big of an effect just Earth has on the totality of existence. Most of it is going on in complete space that keeps everything right here on Earth working the way it does. Because if you don't think them stars that's far, 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 far away haven't impacted us, we're built from them.
Yeah.
Check your science book. This ain't something I come up with, okay? We are all built on it. Why do you think your iron gets slow? Iron. We need iron. That's a metal.
Yeah.
Y'all, you know how many metals in our body? All of them.
Yeah.
Every single one of
Yeah.
them. All of them.
Yeah.
It's all working together for our good. It created us. How can it disappoint us? We just have to tap into the power which is us. Not just on this plane, but beyond. That's all for another show. We're gonna stop there. Go ahead, Dr. Sue. I can feel you.
I just have so many thoughts tumbling over in my head. It's like um, we get caught up in the illusion of who we think we are based on the stories that we've been told, based on the programming. And in my opinion, my very humble opinion, that's why there's so much conflict, because the stories that we're told, that we're programmed with, are the ones that focus on our differences, right? But of
Yes,
course, we are there's only one creative force. We are all one with that force, and all of us are created, composed of the exact same
yep,
material, the
yep,
same elements, the
yep.
same elements as the earth, the air, the sky, the stars. We have all of the same thing, but there are those forces here who they're light forces and dark forces, and there are forces that would have us focus on the differences. And I
Yes,
don't want to get into the politics because that's not what this show is about, but that is one of the ways that you see this separation being
yep,
manifest.
yep.
And related to that, the logic is if I can keep you at each other's throats, then you won't be at mine and I can stay in control,
Right,
right?
right.
And when we talk about spiritual stamina and we would talk about spirituality, um, I think that everything is energy. Energy can't be destroyed. Um, but energy, like the air, hot air rises. And when we clear ourselves energetically, when we are in alignment with source, when we focus on our own evolution, spiritual evolution, then we can raise the energy of the earth.
Yes,
We
ma'am.
can raise the energy of the cosmos. And that really is what is important to me, because I can't change one person. I can't change any person. I can change me, and
Yes,
you can change you. And if I change me and you change you and other people change themselves, then we can make a change in this world, right? And that really, I don't know what other people's purposes are when it comes to being spiritual or wanting to be spiritual or walking a spiritual path. But for me, in my conversation that I had with God, it was we're only here for one purpose, to learn to love ourselves so that we can love others, right?
yep.
You can't give what you don't have. And if you're not in alignment with source, then you don't know what love is. And so you can't give what you don't have. But create when you have the intention and you do the work and you rid yourself of the low vibrational energy and you focus on striving to be your highest self, your energy rises,
Mm.
as does the energy of everything is affected by everything else. When my energy is heightened, then it impacts those around me, even if they don't know it. And
Yeah,
over time,
you're
there are
right.
changes that they will begin to make. Even
Mhm.
if they don't change at the core, at least when they are in my presence, they will
Mhm.
change in terms of how they think, in terms of what they say. And so the goal, we talk about spiritual stamina, we talk about evolution, we talk about resiliency. The goal for me is just to strive always to be your highest self, whatever that means to you. But ultimately it has to be about love, because love is all there is. There's nothing
Love is
else.
my
Love is
jam.
all there is.
So, Dr. Sue, I want you to touch on this comment right here. She says, my challenge is learning to trust that inner voice after you have made the mistakes and going down a corrective path.
You know, it sounds very complicated. It sounds like a very complex question. And I don't want you to think that I am being dismissive, because I'm not. I'm coming from my own experience of having had to learn to trust. Ultimately, and I'll give you the bottom line and then I'll give you a story. Ultimately, it is about having an intention and saying, I'm going to trust anyway, making that commitment to
Mm-hmm.
yourself, to God. Now, I'll tell you a story about me and my trust. We're each here to learn different things. We have different learning opportunities. We have different lessons or milestones. The thing that I am here to learn has been to trust. I didn't trust anybody, and I didn't believe. Um, I had a an experience where I was in a meditative state, and God was saying to me, well, two things had happened. One is that I was very afraid. I was in law school. And so I was, my first semester, I was so scared that I was going to fail a class. And God said, you're going to pass the class. And I heard him, I felt him, was there just, and I say him, but God is not a person, you know.
Mm-hmm.
The energy, I felt the energy just as much as I am feeling it now as I talk, right? And so, like, you're going to pass, and showed me a number. The number was 72. 72.
72.
When
Right.
I took that exam, it was torch, personal injury. I was so scared of that class. I took that exam, I got a 72. But in the same experience, when he was telling me I was going to pass with the 72, he said, and I don't remember what came before, but because these are the words that have always stuck with me. The other disciples believed just because they just believed. And there are some people who just believe. Say, but you were like Thomas. Thomas is the one who said, but that I put my hand in your side, I will not believe. That's you. You don't trust. And I have Thomas energy that I've had to overcome. And ultimately,
Oh,
overcoming the Thomas energy for me meant coming to
we
a
get rid of
place of
Thomas.
understanding
Thomas
that
is out of here.
it's not about what I see. It's not even about what I know intellectually. It is just understanding, not understanding the how it worked, but understanding that God and I are one. When it says in the Bible, if you believe the Bible, and I believe some of it, I don't believe all of it, but I do believe the part where it says that we were created in God's image. Now, that is an etheric image. That is not the physical image, because we're all different in terms of the manifestation, the outward manifestation. So when you say we're created in God's image, what I know is that if I am created in God's image, I'm a reflection of God. I contain everything that God contains. Now, being human, also, I don't use all of my power, because I don't even know all my power. I don't even know how to use it. But I know that God can show me. And so I just began to lean into that, to trust God and I are one.
Mm,
God and I are one.
mm,
That's
mm,
what I
mm,
focus on.
mm, mm.
I don't know how other people do it. But what I do know is I had to stop looking at what I saw with my physical eyes, because my physical eyes would tell me, hey, this shit ain't real. I'm just saying. But my spiritual eye says, God and I are one. Therefore, everything, everything is exactly as it should be. And I'm leaning into that and trusting that. Now, I don't know
Mm.
if that answers your question, but I hope that
Well,
gives you
I mean,
some insight in terms
it
of.
wasn't even a question. It wasn't even a question. So it was definitely an answer, though. But it was definitely.
Well,
And
I hope that is I
and I believe this is the
I
same
hope
young
that
lady.
gives you some insight.
Yeah, I love that so much. And the passing down of the God trait is what I took away from what you said, especially right there at the end. You come from God. You're an extension of God. It doesn't matter how many generations come after you, you can still be traced back to the same DNA.
Yeah,
Think of your spirit. It is God. There is no other but him, right?
yeah,
He's the creator of all, right?
yeah,
He's the Alpha and the Omega, right? The beginning, the end, the first and the last, and everything in between belongs to him, right? Even the corrective path. Even the corrective path belongs to him. It's still a path that he's on with you. It doesn't matter where you are. I don't care if you're in
right,
jail. I don't care if you're in a whorehouse. I don't care if you're sticking a needle in your arm right now. I don't care if you are doing something, cheating on somebody. I don't care if you are cheating on a test. I don't care if you are, it ain't your cheat day and you're eating a Snicker bar anyway. I don't care what road you are on. God is there with you.
yeah,
All you got to do is communicate with him.
yeah,
Start listening to him. If you can't hear him, keep talking. Keep talking. You know what? That's his voice. Keep talking. Keep communicating. He gave that to you. He's on the road with you. There is no other road. He's the creator of all. There is no
yeah.
other road. Whew.
Yeah, I think one of the big things that I had to learn is that there are no mistakes,
Mm-mm.
and there are no failures, right? I think that failure is a word. Mistake and failure assume that you did something wrong.
Right.
And I have come to believe that in the moment that you're doing it, it is the right thing to do. Now, I want you to distinguish between, I would say, legally right and morally right, and what is divinely ordained, right? Your behavior can be a violation of law, and so that's wrong. That would be a mistake, y'all. Don't violate the law, because you
Yeah.
will suffer the consequences.
It can just be disagreeable in general.
Uh-huh. And morally, morally means that we're striving to live by a higher spiritual code, a higher code. Divinely right is for me when I know and I can feel when I am in alignment, and I can feel when I'm not. So the divinely, when I'm being divinely guided, even though it may be different than I think I should be doing, different than other people think I do should be doing, it's not wrong. And
Mm.
regardless of which way you go, regardless of what your path is, there's something for you to learn, right? It's all a learning opportunity.
Mm.
If you weren't supposed to be on that path, you wouldn't be there. But since you're there, there's something for you to learn. And the thing is that it's like the fingers on my hand. It's still connected to the arm. This is God, right? And it doesn't matter which one of these paths you go on, you are still going to come back to this arm, still coming back to God. God just gives you, He gave us a mind, gave us the ability to think, the ability to reason, the ability to exercise free will. So, yeah, I know. Listen, I've had the experience where I said, God, should I go to the left? Literally, should I turn? I'm driving. Should I turn to the left or should I turn to the right? God says, turn to the left. I go, okay, I'm turning to the right. Now, God allowed me to turn to the right. And when I turned to the right, I had to deal with what was on the street that was turned after I turned to the right. And typically, it was something that if I had turned to the left, I could have avoided. But obviously, I needed to learn to listen to the calling, to
Yeah.
listen to the inner voice. So I only had to have that happen a few times, and then I started turning to the left. But when I really got serious about this journey, when I really got serious about it, I asked God's direction in all things, however small. Should I
Yeah.
eat this? Should I not? Should I wear what should I wear today? God had me wearing white for years. Every time you saw me, I only had white because that's what I was told to wear. Right. And so when you get serious, or when I got serious about it, I stopped turning to the left when God was telling me to turn. I started turning to the left when God told me to turn to the left, as opposed to saying, okay, y'all,
I'm
I
just
could
saying.
listen. I could have avoided two divorces if I had just listened, and two major relationships too. But God said no, and I said, "Oh, but I want him." So I'm talking about me, y'all. I'm telling my business, but I know y'all got business, and if you just you don't have to show up and tell anybody your stuff. But I'm saying, since you are within the privacy of your own mind, you know you got that relationship that took you down that road. If you had listened to God, you wouldn't have gone down that road. I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
Look, you cruising along like this, right? Listen to some Miguel, Let me adore you, baby. God said, turn to the right. You're like, I'm going to swing to the left. Have you
Yeah.
ever seen the movie The Rat Race?
Hmm.
Have you ever seen the movie The Rat Race?
Uh-uh.
Okay, we'll talk about that later. I want to read this comment right quick. I am with you, Dr. Sue. I had to turn to let go of all the rules taught as a child. Everything doesn't have to be perfect before you just trust Him. I now know God loves me through the mess. Beauty
Yes.
ashes. That's a good
Yes.
song right there. That is
Yes.
a real good song. So this has been amazing spiritual stamina. So again, when you're going through a lot of stuff, and no matter what the road is, no matter what you choose, what path you choose, just listen to the call of God, no matter what it sounds like, no matter what it feels like, if it's weird, if it's scary. Sometimes it's scary.
Yeah.
It can be scary sometimes. It really can. Sometimes it'll keep you up at night. But you
Yeah.
will get sufficient rest to last through your day as you always have. We're still here. No one, we're still, we may be a little tired. We may feel a little exhaustion. We may feel a little weak sometimes. That's all a part of spiritual growth. I'm just being real with you. It is a part of spiritual growth. But it's not because we are being given pain and discomfort. It's because we are peeling back something that has been so closely attached to us that it's uncomfortable for it to come off.
Yeah.
You know, it's a peeling of sorts. Like sometimes you crack an egg and you can get that joke off and it come off all slick, and then sometimes it's just a little piece. You just can't get it off, and now you're messing up the whole thing. Just looks a mess. It's kind of sometimes it's just a mess, but it's coming off.
Yeah. Well,
It's
what I know is that whatever it is you're here to do and to learn, you will do it and you will learn it before
mm-hmm,
you transition.
mm-hmm.
Now, I'm a metaphysician. What I believe is that if you don't get it done this time, it's okay. Because you
But
get to come back and do
you'll
it
be
all
back.
over again.
You'll be
And
back.
I personally, when I learned the truth of that, I thought, I'm not doing this over again. So I'm it doesn't mean that I always get it right, but I am always trying. I am always trying. And that's something that I can truly say. It wasn't always that way. It was not that way. And I have to acknowledge that there was a lot of fear for me in going down this spiritual path, because the things that God was calling me to say and speak, I didn't have, quote unquote, a mentor. I didn't have anybody that I could talk to about it. Um, I talked to my mom. She said she had never had the same kind of experiences that I was having. She told me to go and talk to my pastor. And I was on the board. What do you call it? Not the deacon board, but board of trustees for this really really big church. I was on there, and so I went and talked to my pastor, and I said, sometimes I hear the voice of God, and and I was telling him, and he said, God doesn't speak to you like that. Whew, that made me feel some kind of way. It's like, am I hearing voices? Schizophrenics hear voices, right? And the difference between, in my opinion, the difference between a schizophrenic and a person who is spiritual, one of the big differences is that the schizophrenic, we all have these experiences, but the schizophrenic cannot navigate both realities, can't navigate the reality of being human with that of the voices that it hears. And we this is a topic for a different day, but all of the voices, we have to learn to be discerning, because all of the voices that we hear are not of God in terms of the what you're being directed to do. So I was really afraid that I don't want to be crazy. And I spent a lot of time running because I didn't want to be crazy and I didn't have anybody to talk to.
Yeah.
You have, if that's where you are, you have to, whether that's where you are or not, a big part of getting past that, this spiritual stamina, is sitting in the silence and beginning to listen for how God speaks to you. Some people get information in dreams. Some people see things, they have visions. Some people hear. I hear. I have a sense of knowing. My mom had a sense of smell. Uh, Not everybody is gifted in the same way, but no way is more right or more wrong than any other way. You just have to trust what you're getting from the divine, and don't listen to man, because so often, if man has not experienced, and woman haven't experienced what you're experiencing, then they will lead you astray. And so again, it's always coming back into alignment and learning to listen to the divine for guidance. Those are my last words. Listen to the divine for your guidance.
Indeed. And when you do find that guidance and like you kind of fine tune the way that you get it, don't let it freak you out. Because there's a lot of times like I see stuff in carpet. I'm just gonna be real about some of the ways that I see things. I see things, I see faces and things, but it can be carpet, it can be this paint back here. I can't tell you how much I see in this painting behind me, which is our background also, by the way. So many things that I see in this painting, but I see them in clouds. I see them in the suds in the bath soap. When I mentioned earlier about the cool air across the back of your cast, that's when I know there's a presence near me. Um, Usually on live, this ear will tickle when I know something's coming, or I have to take a really deep breath because it's almost like I'm creating space to
Me
house
too.
something.
Me too.
It's like you're preparing your body because you feel it coming. So you want to create some space. There's all sorts of ways. So you're not crazy. You're not crazy. These things happen. And it could sometimes it happens once, sometimes it happens often. Sometimes it happens way too often for you feel as though it happens way too often for you because it doesn't make any sense for it happening that often. But that's your path of least resistance. Some people only take someone because it spook them and they're like, okay, okay, okay. But then there's some people like, me and Dr. Sue, who he's like, you know what I mean? It takes what it takes for whoever it takes, whoever is going to take it. You have to accept whatever that is. It's no different than your fingerprints. You know, we all have
Yeah.
a different fingerprint. We all have our own communication with God. The good part is we have our language with God, but God's language can transcend to anyone. I don't think I have it on here. I play if it's on here, this will be the video that I play whenever we end. And y'all can listen to it. It's called When Love Speaks. It's the same thing when God speaks. we speak different languages, but when God speaks to us, it transcends all of that.
Yeah.
It comes directly in the easiest and most just easy, smooth path for you. Now it may seem jarring, but that's what it takes for you. You had to get it jarring because that's where you were in your life at that time. You needed something jarring in order for you to get for you for in order for him to acquire the attention that was necessary for you to move.
So,
Sometimes it's a whisper because life is so loud. And the thing, I was in the middle of a stadium and I heard whisper to me.
yeah.
Sometimes it takes that. But it doesn't matter what the voice of God sounds like, feels like, smells like, touch like, looks like. When you know it because the knowing is not of you. It was
Yeah.
delivered. It was delivered to you. So trust the knowing. Trust the knowing. She says, I hear random songs in my spirit, all genres, but the message is solid. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I love that. I love that. Hey, Tammy. She said also, oh, I had also one time I was a card game. The Holy Spirit told me to leave, and I asked someone to ride to the store, and that friend got murdered. I'm trying to tell you. I'm trying to tell you. When you know it,
Yeah.
you know it. You absolutely do. You absolutely do. And there's been so many times that I just knew that I knew, and I allowed someone else's disbelief to affect my belief. I won't do it again. I won't do it again
Well,
because
for
when
most of us, that's a part of the process. For most of us, that's a part of the process of really solidifying that trust, right? Because when it happens once or twice, and something you have some consequences behind it, it's like the next time you go, oh yeah, well, last time I didn't listen. This is what happened. Okay,
uh-huh,
pay
yeah,
attention right now. So,
I got it, I got it. And then you'll start to see little things that used to be happening and little things people used to do and little annoyances that used to get to you kind of start trickling away because you start learning stuff about yourself. And then since it's not in you, it doesn't capture your attention anymore.
yeah.
And you find yourself sitting more in the seat of self thinking, oh, I hear you. Oh, yeah. I hear you.
But and the other thing is that when you evolve in this way, you, I believe, discover more of a sense of acceptance and tolerance of others, because with your evolution, there is a measure of wisdom where you realize there's no judgment. I'm going through my stuff, they're going through theirs. We're all headed to the same place.
We're
We're
going to meet
all
up
headed
at
to
the
the
same
same
place.
place. It's just different routes, different ways of being on those routes, but the ultimate destination is the same. And for
Mm-hmm.
me, it's like, again, when I ask God, well, what is it? Why do you have so many? One of my questions was, well, why do you have so many churches, right? So many different churches. And the answer was, because not everybody can eat the same food. Some people can only eat the crumbs on
You're
the
right.
floor.
You're
Some
right.
people can eat the hard food. Some people can eat the soft food. Some people can only eat dessert. And for
Yeah.
every person, there is someone who has a message that they can eat, that they
Yeah.
can internalize. And regardless of how, whether you agree with it or not, even
Yeah.
those people, get this, even those people who ultimately are preaching about hate, they also are preaching about love. Their way is, it's not that you agree with it, but what they're getting people in there to believe in God. God is the destination. And
Yeah.
a mature spiritual person begins to realize that I don't have to agree with that message. I just have to understand that the destination is the same. I understand
Yep.
that it love is love. True love
Yeah.
is love. And
Got it.
divine love really is all there is. And all of us are we're in the process. We may be, some of us are on a lower echelon than others, but all of us are in the process of discovering what divine love is.
Mm-hmm.
And so we keep moving, we keep rolling. That's the
Mm-hmm.
stamina. And when life knocks us down, when we're doing that lifing thing, we get back up. And if we are devoted to our evolution, then we increase the stamina, we increase the trust. And we know
Mm-hmm.
it's all good. It's all
Oh,
good.
it's all good in the hood. It
Yeah.
reminds me of wait a minute, hang on. I feel like the old lady in church. I'm gonna attempt to sing the song. I'm gonna attempt. Y'all pray with me. If you know it, sing it with me. I'll go if I have to go by myself. I'll go
I don't know
if
that one, but I like it.
I by myself. Oh, with my mother, if my father, if my sister, if my brother, if they don't go, I go. If I have to go by myself. Woohoo! You just keep going on your path. Because
Yeah.
we all gonna meet in the end at the same place.
Yeah.
Any final words, Dr. Sue?
Praise the Lord, y'all.
Praise the Lord. We love y'all. Meet us back here again next week for another episode of the Late Night
Late
Happy
night happy hour. Where what comes
Hour.
up does what?
Comes out. Bye,
Bye, y'all.
everybody.
You know, as I was thinking about what we are doing, it really is an opportunity for people to connect with their beingness. We are not conscious of the compartmentalization. We just say, this is who I am, right? Who you are is different depending on the environment that you find yourself in or the people that you find yourself connected with. So I hold myself out as an example. You know, at 71 years old, it's been a long journey. It's been a long journey to self-acceptance. And I think it may be that way for many of us, that we look at the pieces of ourselves and decide, I can show that. No, I can't show that. Is there a danger? How deep is the danger if I show you all of me? Oh, I can show these people this part of me, and these people this part of me, and these people this part of me. And then the question is, how long before you get tired of just compartmentalizing your beingness?